We got two. We're gonna make it three, right?
Yeah.
So, oh God, I could say so much about this topic, but I think first and foremost, man, like these negative comments, like I try to focus on where they come from. You know what I mean? And like, why do people seem to only comment like the negative feelings and not positive? You know, I think that's like the most curious thing about the internet. Like I just see it so often. I'm like, it's like a cesspool of negativity, usually. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I get the feeling it's the extreme side of the spectrum. So people that are in the middle are not going to comment. When people are engaging or like a particular video, they see it, they take it in, and then they move on to the next post. But if someone really gets aggravated by a post, then they're like getting angry and they want to comment on that. So the people that are in the middle, which is probably 98% of them, are not going to respond. And then there's that 2% that really gets annoyed or angry, and that's the one that those are the people that are going to respond to the post often in a negative way.
Yeah, to me, it's like, um, I know like we all kind of get outraged when there's things that challenge our belief systems, but at least for me and in my experience in how I handle these things is usually when I see something that I don't like, I just move on right away because I know like what that does to my mind. It makes me like, first of all, get like super obsessive about trying to change how this person feels about whatever subject it is. And you know, why do I feel like I need to change their opinion? That doesn't make any sense. So that's like my first conclusion of like why I need to move on. And then second is like the stress and problems it causes inside of us. You know what I mean? Like it's definitely very unhealthy to constantly get outraged and feel negative about people challenging your belief, you know, in opinion.
Yeah, and I used to be like that when I was younger. I would get lost in the argument or discussion on the web as well, and I especially see it with the younger people. So if you compare platforms, I don't see it too much on YouTube. Of course, there are discussion, but it's pretty mellow, and it's also just funny comments and then people bringing their perspective. But when you go to TikTok with the younger generation, there's no filter. There is no filter.
Yeah, I see the exact same thing. And like why you know, at least for the young mind. And I could peel back and go back into my past and say the same thing to myself. Like, why do we have to prove our point? Why are we so adamant about like proving other people wrong? That part of it, like, what I'm trying to get at is like, if you're this person, try to understand why you're doing this, and then when you realize like this is hurting me, it's not helping me in any manner. I'm sitting here trying to fight a cause that is never going to get won. You'll let it go, you know. And that to me, like, it's the best thing anybody could do for their self. Like, if you're running around trying to prove your own truth, like you're going to torture yourself and never
Yeah,
ever get a chance to prove it.
because there's always one person on the internet that's going to disagree. So even if you have 99 people agreeing with you, they're not going to comment. There's one person that says no, and then getting lost in this whole debate, which makes no sense because you're not even listening. Or the two people that are debating on the internet, it's like just slamming their point of view down your throat. It's not really like a discussion when you have face to face or in a podcast where you're sitting down and taking your time to talk through it instead of just saying no, this is the way it is.
Yeah, I think that's the other dangerous part about the internet, right? You get to say what you want to say and then walk away from it, and like no one gets to rebuttal, and there's no understanding. So like, why even try? First of all, in the internet, discussions and especially debates need to be done like face to face or on the phone, or you know, so you
Exactly,
can talk about it.
because online there is no face, so you can be anonymous, just saying bullcrap and disappear.
Yeah, and you could just walk away from it, and you don't have to deal with the consequences. It's a lot harder to argue with someone when they're face to face, and you get to see the emotion in them, and you know what I mean. Like
Mhm.
you got to think quicker, and you got to be involved. If you're just typing and then walking away like that, like there is zero impact for either party.
Exactly, and it's okay to disagree. That's fine. I'm not saying you have to agree with everyone, but it's more the form on how you communicate that towards the other person. So I was scrolling through Instagram. I don't know if it was by Joe Dispenza or someone else, but someone was disagreeing. Okay, I'm gonna head back a bit. Joe Dispenza was saying, I don't know if you know his theory, but that you, with your mind, you can solve inflammation or disease in your body. It's basically the same thing that Wim Hof says, right? that through our mind, through thinking, we can activate diseases or suppress them. And then
Mhm.
someone was commenting with, well, but isn't he neglecting like medicines? Like we know that that works as well. And then somebody was disagreeing, so explaining like, no, he's not disagreeing with the Western society. They're not contradicting. They can live next to each other. And this was this really
Mhm.
subtle disagreement, and they were explaining, and everything was good. And then some, I don't know who it was, but someone famous commented, wow, this was a good way to solve an argument on the internet. So that was an example of how it should be done. So you can disagree, but just have respect. Don't call names. Don't do weird stuff. Just get to the point with having respect.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, you could walk away, agree to disagree as well. And I like to use this analogy, man. I use it all the time. But like me, for example, I'm gonna go to food. I hate curry. Like it's like just makes me cringe. It's so disgusting to me. And when I went vegan, my wife and I went to Indian restaurant, and it's just full of curry. You know, you could smell it and everything. Like right when I walked in, I could smell it, and I'm like, oh God, I can't do this. And so I'm kind of like thinking to myself when we're sitting in the restaurant, all this hit me, man. I'm like looking around, I'm like, all these people love it, like literally love it, like it's their favorite food, but I hate it. And I'm like trying to like compute the you know the where's my disconnect here, and all I could think of is like that's awesome that they like that and I hate this, you know. And there's nothing I could do to make me like that, but it made me think to myself that there's a beauty in the fact that someone loves what I hate, and that's awesome. That's crazy to me to think that somebody could love like something that I cannot stomach, you know. And I think that that like is such an important analogy, at least for my mind, on a disagreeing or like at least coming to something that you may hate versus you know someone loves it. You know, it's not a matter of me trying to prove like why that tastes bad. Now I just understand that there's people out there that think different from me, and that's there's this deep beauty in this, man. That this person is entirely different from me. Now I'm interested, and I'm like, well,
Yeah,
so what makes that taste good to you? You know, and I start to get curious. Opens my mind.
curious.
Curious.
Yeah.
No pun intended. I like that. I love that.
And you don't
So
have
do you
to
like
fight
curry?
over. Yeah, I do. But
Okay.
it's also it's always funny when somebody asks me why don't you like a certain food? I'm like, I don't know. That's just how my tongue works. How do you mean? How do I not like that? Like what the hell?
That's why I like food as the analogy because like there's zero explanation and you
Yeah,
can't explain it, but like we're indifferent for a reason and there's no explanation there, but there's a beauty in it. And so I just
exactly.
appreciate it. I appreciate the opposite side of me. You know, the things that I don't like that they're all over the place in the world and these people like it. So to me, it's just like, it makes me more open-minded and curious when I think like this.